Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mrs. Teacher Rakim from Marawi City National High School. I am your science teacher for grade 8. Our lesson for today is all about Newton's 3 laws of motion, particularly the first and the second law of motion. Here is our objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to A. State the law of inertia and the law of acceleration. B. Relate inertia to mass. C. Discuss the relationships between mass, force, and acceleration. D. Cite some applications of these laws in your daily life. Now, before anything else, let us review first your past lessons. Do you still remember your last lesson? It is about balance and unbalanced force. Now, balanced force is when a number of forces act on a body and the resultant force is 0. Two forces equal in magnitude and in opposite direction and lie along the same line of action. It is known as the balanced force. While unbalanced force, when a number of forces act on a body and the resultant force is not 0. Two forces are not equal in magnitude. It is considered unbalanced force. Did you understand? Now, to start our lesson, let us try some activities first. Activity 1. Guess what in this activity? You just have to guess the words being defined below by solving the jumbled letters. For number 1, this refers to the amount of matter an object has. What do you think is the answer? You are right. The answer is mass. Number 2, it is a push or pull upon an object resulting from the object's interactions with other object. Guess what? That's right. It is force. Number 3, it is an action or process of moving or of changing place or position. Guess the word. Correct. The word is motion. Last number. It is the resistance of any physical object to any change in its state of motion. What do you think is the word? Right. It is inertia. Very good, students. Now, are those set of words familiar to you? Well, get back to that later. Now, let us do activity 2. This time, I want you to analyze the given picture of the two wrestlers by comparing their masses and relating the concept of mass to inertia. Take your time properly and think wise. For our last activity, which is called experience, given below are some situations and I want you to think what happens after those scenarios. For the first picture, when you are riding a car and it suddenly stops, what do you think will happen? You are right. You strain yourself against the seat belt. Another picture says that when you are riding a horse and the horse suddenly stops, what do you think happens next? You guessed it right. As you can see, you will fly over its head. For the third picture, what happens when you move a died car? Correct. That car won't move, of course. Lastly, if a car moving suddenly turns left, what happens to the driver? That's right. The driver appears to slide to the right. Did you get all the answers? Right. Clap your hands if you did so. Okay. Now, always remember that all objects have the tendency to resist changes in their state of motion or keep doing what they are doing. However, changing a body's state of motion depends on its inertia. What is inertia, by the way? Inertia is the tendency of an object to resist any changes in motion. It is measured in terms of mass. So an object having greater mass has greater inertia. Remember also that a more massive object, which has more inertia, is more difficult to move from rest, slow down, speed up, or change its direction. Now, as a summary, the first law of motions, or the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will remain at rest, or an object in motion will remain in motion or travel in a straight line, not unless an external net force acts on it. Take for instance, a heavy rock on the ground will not move, not unless acted upon by unbalanced force, and that is when you try to push it using your hands. So, the object will change its state of motion only if there is an unbalanced force acting on it. Did you get the concept of the first law of motion, students? 2 thumbs up if you did so. Now, we now move on to the second law of motion, known as the law of acceleration. Let us try some activities first. Activity 1. What can you say? For this activity, study the pictures given below, answer some questions. For the first picture, can a man push the car? If yes, how much force is needed by the man to push the car? Next picture. Which ball has greater mass? That's right. The bowling ball has greater mass. Now, which ball will accelerate faster? Correct. The tennis ball will accelerate faster than the bowling ball. Note that if the net force acting on an object is constant, its velocity changes at a constant rate over time. Hence, it is considered to be moving with constant acceleration. But if the force of an object is changed, its acceleration will also change. When the net force is double, acceleration is also double. When it is tripled, acceleration is also tripled. Acceleration also varies depending on the mass of an object. As the mass of an object increases, with the same amount of force applied, its acceleration decreases. We can therefore say that the second law of motion, or the law of acceleration, states that the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force, which is the unbalanced force, and is inversely proportional to its mass. This can be expressed in an equation form. A is equals to F net divided by M, where A is the acceleration, F net is the net force, and M is the mass of an object. The unit for acceleration is meter per second squared. Take, for example, suppose a ball weighing 0.6 kilogram is hit with a force of 12 Newton. Its acceleration will be A is equals to F net divided by M. A, which is the acceleration, is equals to 12 Newton, that is the F net, divided by 0.60 kilogram, that is your mass. Therefore, acceleration is equals to 20 meter per second squared. Another example. A ball with a mass of 0.5 kilogram is kicked with a force of 2.5 Newton. What is its acceleration? Try to solve this in your own. I will give you time. Okay. A is equals to net force divided by M. A is equals to 2.5 Newton divided by 0.5 kilogram. That is your mass. Okay. So acceleration is equals to 5 meter per second squared. Did you understand the concept of the second law of motion? Clap your hands if you did so. That is all for today's lesson, students. Thank you for listening and have a good day.